All right, this is week 3 of your Wednesdays, and we're going to deal with domain of non-traditional linear graphs. What that means is it's something like this. It has 2 endpoints, or it has an arrow in only one direction. Domain, we have taught this many times. It couldn't be any simpler with these kind of graphs than to follow the procedure I'm about to show you. So watch this. Notice that this dot goes through -6, and this dot goes through +5. We are dealing on the x-axis. If you will simply write your domain this way, both of these arrows point to the left, and since both of these are closed dots, they both get equal signs, and we are done with that domain. Okay? Let's look at what's happening here. This domain is starting at 2, but this domain goes that way forever. All of these numbers up here are 3, 4, 5, all the way up to infinity. All of these numbers are greater than 2. So our domain is really nothing more than x's greater than 2. However, this is a closed dot, so it would be all the x values greater than or equal to 2. Now, if this technique doesn't help you out, you can always write your domains like this, but you are going to have to know this at some point because it's a requirement. But if you notice here that we go from 2, and this arrow means we go to infinity, okay? This is on the x line, and of course, if we write it in this technique, both arrows will point to the left. This again is a solid dot, so that gets the underline. However, infinity is not a set number. We never equal to infinity. Okay, that being said, notice here, this is still saying x is greater than or equal to 2, which is this, x is greater than or equal to 2. Let's move along at some other equations. This one, it's hard to see on the video, is open. Notice it is open at -1, and this thing goes all the way to infinity because of the arrow. We are dealing in domain, so it's x's. When we write it left to right, we get both arrows are pointing left. Infinity is never equal to, and since this is an open dot, this would be the final answer for this domain. Okay, let's look at what we have here. We have a different kind of arrow. It's going to the left. So this means left forever is -infinity. Notice it comes all the way up here though, and it stops at 1. We're dealing on the x-axis, which is the domain again. And if we write it in this technique, both of the arrows automatically point to the left. This is a closed dot, so that gets a solid line, and we are done. Again, you can literally write x is less than or equal to 1, and these are the exact same thing. Sorry, these are the exact same thing, okay? All right, 2 more examples, then you get to practice. Notice here, this goes through x is -3, and this goes through x is +3. Notice we dealt all in x's, and in this technique, the arrows point left. Since both of these are open circles, neither one of them gets the equals sign, and we are done. One last one, so we can blend them a little bit. Notice here, and sometimes they're not going to be clear for you. You got to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is -6x, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is +5x. Again, we're dealing in x's from left to right. In this technique, both arrows point left. This is an open circle. That does not get an equals. This is a closed circle, so it does get an equals, and that would be our final answer. Okay. At this point, I'm going to give you a few minutes to practice this sheet. I'm going to give you a few seconds, to press pause while you practice this sheet. Then feel free to turn this video back on and you can check your answers as I go through this worksheet, okay? All right, I'm gonna do 2 at a time if I can. So right here, we follow this down. Notice the number says -4. Even though it's 2 lines, pay attention to the numbers. Okay, and this one is technically going through, we'll call it 10. We're dealing in X values. It's all domain today, guys and girls, so it's X values. This technique, everything points left. Both of them are solid dots, so they both get an equals to sign. Domain is done. This one here starts at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Starts at -6. This arrow says it goes to infinity. Again, dealing with X's. In this technique, both the arrows point left. That's a solid dot, so that's an equals to. And this is our final answer here. If you wrote, X is greater than or equal to -6, scoot it over, you would also be correct. Notice that this says X is greater than or equal to -6, just reading it backwards. All right. This one is another one you're going to have to count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is -4 to +3. Dealing with X values. Arrows point left. You can see it on this video pretty good. These are both open circles. That is our final answer. Okay. On this one here, we are running from -8 to +5. Dealing with X's because it's domain. Both arrows point left. The -8 has a solid dot. The +5 does not. There is your final answer. Again, remember, you can pause this video whenever you need to while you're checking things out, okay? Notice this arrow goes to -infinity, and this is on X is -3. So there's our X values. Both arrows point left. Infinity does not get an equal sign. Open circles do not get an equal sign. So this could be our final answer. You can also write X is less than -3, and you'd have the correct answer as well. Okay, this is our last one, and I put one in here that was a little bit tricky. Okay, notice that the only thing on the X line that we touch is 5. Therefore, the entire domain is X equals 5. Notice the line does not go left and right at all. It simply only ever touches X is 5. Look at these points. Choose any point along here. You've got 5, 8. You've got 5, 4. You've got 5, 0, and 5, -2, and 5, -7. Okay? Notice all of the X's are 5. So X is always 5. That's the end of this video. Don't forget to check in with your teachers at 10:30 and 2:30 in Hangouts if you have questions. You can always email questions in between. I hope you guys are having a safe time. And if you have any questions for us, make sure you get a hold of us. Have a good day.